The night they threw me out, a storm tore through Boston. Not a soft rain. A wall of water. I stood on the brownstone steps, my backpack soaking through, when my mother cut me down with one sentence. "You're a disgrace, Claire. An absolute failure." My father stood behind her, silent. The same tight jaw he'd worn the night I told them the truth. I didn't want their life. I didn't want the family law firm, Whitaker and Sons. I wanted to make games. "All these years preparing you for the firm," my mother hissed. "And you throw it away for childish fantasies." I was 18. Just finished my first year at Boston University. My only crime was refusing to transfer to Harvard Law like they demanded. "I design worlds," I said quietly. "I don't write briefs." Her face hardened. "If you walk away now," she snapped, "never come back. You get nothing from us." They were waiting for tears. I gave them one word: good. I pulled up my hood and walked straight into the rain, leaving the Beacon Hill townhouse that had been my golden cage. "You'll fail, Claire," she shouted after me. "You'll crawl back." I never looked back. The first months were brutal. I slept on my roommate Eva's futon, worked in a bookstore by day, waited tables at night. Every spare minute I coded, drew characters, taught myself Unity. Eva's tiny apartment became my whole world. While my family hosted gala dinners, I sat on the floor with sketch pads and cold coffee. "You're insane," Eva laughed one night. "But the good kind." She was right. 6 months in, my first small indie game caught the attention of a Boston-based startup. No big money. No headlines. Just a chance. A junior developer role. Flexible hours. Room to keep building my own ideas. I said yes without blinking. My family's firm, Whitaker and Sons, was built on tradition and courtrooms. An empire my grandfather started in the 1950s. They couldn't understand pixels. I could. While they clung to reputation, I learned Unity, VR tools, and how to build entire digital worlds. 1 year became 2. Then 3. I moved from junior developer to lead designer at another studio. My first serious game, a narrative-driven indie title, started getting real buzz. I wasn't rich, but I could afford a tiny loft in Cambridge and complete freedom to work. Through mutual friends, I heard pieces of my old life. My cousin Amelia had taken the role meant for me at Whitaker and Sons. My parents still hosted their polished charity galas. Boston's legal royalty. They erased me from their story. That was fine. I was writing my own. For years after the night in the rain, everything shifted. My game evolved into something bigger. A full platform for indie creators, tools to build immersive worlds. I called it Dream Forge Studios. Investors came faster than I ever expected. Our first funding round valued Dream Forge at $18 million. 6 months later, it doubled. I moved into a small condo near Kendall Square. Kept my life simple. Every dollar went back into people, tech, and growth. Eva, the girl who gave me her futon, became my creative director. "From ramen noodles to redefining gaming," she joked, looking around our bright studio. I just smiled. I still remembered cold rain on my shoulders. Then came the call. I was reviewing partnership proposals when a familiar name flashed across my screen. Whitaker and Sons. My family's firm. In trouble. While I'd raced into digital entertainment, they'd stayed buried under mahogany desks and outdated systems. Their revenue had been falling for over a year. They needed modernization. They needed legal tech. They needed money. A lot of it. I opened their financials. The situation was worse than the rumors. They were bleeding cash. About $5 million would buy them time to survive and pivot. I was still staring at the numbers when my phone lit up. A number I hadn't seen in 6 years. My mother. I let it ring. Once. Twice. 3 times. "You're a disgrace, Claire." The words echoed in my head. On the 5th ring, I answered. "Hello, Mother." My voice didn't shake. "I've been expecting this call." Silence stretched across the line. Then her voice came back, thin, stripped of steel. "Claire, we need to talk." I leaned back in my chair and watched rain slide down the glass of my office window. "Yes," I said quietly. We do. The Whitaker and Sons building hadn't changed. Same towering columns. Same polished brass plaques. Same partners in tailored suits rushing through the lobby. But I had. As I stepped through the revolving door, memories hit all at once. Sneaking into my father's study. Sitting through courtroom Saturdays. Endless speeches about legacy and duty. Miss Whitaker? The receptionist froze as recognition set in. Your mother is waiting in the main conference room. I nodded and adjusted my navy suit. Not because I was nervous. Because power still speaks in appearances. In the elevator, I ran the numbers again in my head. Whitaker and Sons was collapsing. Profits down 55%. Clients slipping away. Reputation hanging by a thread. The doors opened. And there they were. My mother, Margaret Whitaker. Older. Smaller somehow. Mascara faintly smudged beneath tired eyes. My father sat beside her, hands steepled, silent. His once perfect silver hair thinned at the temples. By the window stood my cousin Amelia, the chosen heir. Rigid posture. Tight jaw. The untouchable family of Whitaker and Sons didn't look untouchable anymore. Clare, my mother murmured. She half stood, then sat back down. Her hand lifted and dropped. Thank you for coming. I took the seat at the far end of a long table and set my laptop case down. Let's skip the niceties, I said calmly. I've reviewed your financials. Amelia turned from the rain-streaked glass. You've been spying on us. Public filings, I replied. Your firm's collapse isn't exactly a secret. My father flinched. Your firm, I corrected. Not ours. Not anymore. We've had challenges, my mother began, slipping into her courtroom voice. The market is volatile. Our traditional clients. Your traditional clients are panicking. I cut in. Law is digital now. AI contract analysis. Blockchain records. Virtual legal services. You're living in the past. Amelia scoffed. And I suppose you're the expert now. With your little video games? I didn't answer. I opened my laptop. One click. The screen lit up. Dream Forge Studios. Revenue. Growth curves. Global partnerships. The numbers glowed in silence. 420 million in annual revenue. 280% growth. The room went dead still. You're behind Dream Forge? My mother whispered. Founder and CEO, I said. My games built something bigger than Whitaker and Sons ever did. My mother went pale. Finally, she spoke. We need 5 million. A bridge loan. We can modernize. We can. I'm not interested in a loan. I opened a second file. I'm interested in acquisition. The word landed between us like a gunshot. Acquisition. Amelia snapped. You want to buy us out? Your own family? Family? I let out a quiet, humorless laugh. Wasn't it you who told everyone at the alumni gala that you were an only child? That your cousin Clare disappeared years ago? Amelia froze. My mother inhaled sharply. Clare, she said softly, the old coaxing voice. Surely we can find another way. We're still your family. No, I said. You lost that right 6 years ago. This is business. I placed a slim folder on the table. Dream Forge Studios will acquire Whitaker and Sons for $22 million. It's generous, given your current market value. Most staff will be retained. Legal tech will be implemented. Your expertise will merge with our digital platforms. And what about us? Amelia demanded. What happens to the family? I met her stare. You'll be offered positions in the new division. Entry level. Advancement will be based on merit, not your last name. Father can serve as a consultant during the transition, then retire with a full pension. Mother's connections may help with client relations if she wants to stay. My father's hands trembled as he reached for the contract. And if we refuse, he whispered, then I walk. And you explain to your partners why you rejected the only rescue you had. Silence swallowed the room. Paper slid softly as my father turned the first page. You planned this, Amelia said bitterly. You were waiting for us to fail. I stood and straightened my blazer. No, Amelia. I was too busy building success to waste time waiting for your failure. My mother cleared her throat. For the first time in my life, she didn't sound like the most powerful person in the room. How long do we have? I lifted my folder. Midnight. Not a second later. Midnight. My father's voice cracked. That's impossible. We need time, my mother whispered. We have to speak to the partners. Explore other options. You don't have other options, I said calmly. And you don't have time. 6 years ago, you gave me 5 minutes to decide my entire future. I'm giving you 12 hours, I added. I'd say that's generous. I turned toward the door, then paused. Oh, and one more thing. I faced them fully. When you sign, and you will, I want you to use the same pen you used to sign the letter refusing to fund my transfer to art school. The room froze. The one engraved with Whitaker and Sons, I said softly. It's still in your desk drawer, Mother. The flicker of shock on her face told me I was right. She remembered that pen. And what it destroyed. How did you? I'll be back at 11:45 p.m. I cut in. Try not to be late. A small smile. Time is money. Isn't that what you always taught me? I walked out, leaving behind shattered pride and a contract that would rewrite their history. As the elevator doors slid shut, my reflection stared back at me from brushed steel. For the first time in that building, I saw a victor. The next 12 hours would be fascinating. 11:43 p.m. The Boston skyline glittered below the conference room like scattered stars. I stood at the window where Amelia had stood that morning. The door clicked open right on time. My mother entered first, then my father, then Amelia. All three looked hollowed out. My mother clutched a slim leather pen case so tightly her knuckles were white. The partners approved the acquisition, she said hoarsely. I turned. I expected nothing less. You had no other choice. Amelia dropped into a chair. You've won, Claire. Is that what you wanted? No, I said quietly. What I want is the truth. My father sagged into a seat. You're too much like him, he whispered. Like your grandfather. Then he began. In the 1950s, Edmund Whitaker saw change coming. When everyone else clung to tradition, he embraced technology. New systems. New risks. New ways of working. His voice roughened. The partners thought he'd lost his mind. Even his own father called him reckless. He opened the pen case. But he built this firm from nothing. He looked up at me. And you have that same fire. A long pause. It terrified me. Because I'm not like you, I said gently. Realization hit us both. You're a caretaker, I continued. Not a builder. He nodded faintly. I wanted stability. Security. When you talked about AI tools and virtual hearings, I saw your grandfather in you. And it scared him. My mother touched his shoulder. We thought we were protecting you. And Amelia, she added softly, she's like your father. Careful. Predictable. I leaned forward, palms on the table. And look where the safe choice got you. On the brink of collapse. While the so-called dreamer built a tech empire. My father exhaled. We were wrong about you. About everything. He lifted the pen. The same pen that had ended my art school dream. Before signing, he whispered, I need to know, how did you survive after that night? I sat across from him. The first months were brutal. 2 jobs. A futon. Coding until dawn. Then I smiled faintly. But I had something you never gave me. Freedom to fail, my mother whispered. Yes. When your own family walks away, every small win feels huge. And every failure just becomes another lesson. I showed them my first game. Broken. Glitchy. Ugly. But alive. And every version got better. Amelia leaned closer. And the investors? I didn't chase them, I said. They came to me. I already had users. I didn't need their money. A quiet beat. They needed my innovation. Just like Whitaker and Sons did now. My father held the pen like it weighed a ton. And after we sign, what happens to us? Exactly what I told you. Amelia starts over. Mother uses her network. And you, I met his eyes. You get to watch this firm become what your father dreamed it could be. He hesitated. Why not just let us collapse? Because builders don't destroy, I said. They transform. 11:59 p.m. The pen scratched across the contract. My mother wiped her eyes. Amelia signed without hesitation. My father grabbed my wrist. I'm sorry, Claire. I know, I said softly. But it's yourself you need to forgive, for being afraid of change. Amelia whispered. Can we ever be a family again? That depends, I said. Are you ready to build the future instead of clinging to the past? They nodded. Then yes. Board meeting. 9 a.m. Don't be late. A small smile. We have a firm to rebuild. As the elevator carried me down, I thought of the 18-year-old girl with a soaked backpack and a stubborn spark. If someone had told her she'd one day own the building she was thrown out of, she would have laughed through tears. Dreams don't need permission. They need courage. Outside, Eva waited, grinning. So, how'd it go, boss? I lifted the signed contract. Whitaker and Sons is officially part of Dreamforge Studios. She whistled. And the family drama? A work in progress, I said. But for the first time in 6 years, it feels like real progress. Victory wasn't about proving my parents wrong. It was about proving myself right. And this was only the beginning.